Welcome back again, everybody. Hey, we all survived the first episode. We're back, and you know what? It's second episode. I'm telling you, seconds can be a fun thing. Seconds on a watch, seconds out from Genesis, sloppy second. All right, maybe not sloppy seconds, but the point of the matter is, right here, you're getting yourself an audio-visual second helping right here at Knights of the Round Turn Table. Welcome back to the Knights of the Round Turn Table with
Doug Fields,
Grandy Abbott,
and the big mouth Paul Pease. How's everybody this week?
doing pretty good.
I'm telling you guys, I love this. I love this show. I do. And real quick here, we got 43 views off that first episode. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about the Knights of the Round Turn Table. Now, I'm envious. We're not worthy. You
Show us what you
brought some history pieces. Show us, oh mighty historical one.
Okay, as per last episode, I told you about Ben Took and the investors, Payola. This is it. A lot of DJs and program directors and such back in the day got into some serious trouble because of Payola, because they would not play your record unless you paid them, or you had gifts and all this sort of thing. So here's the single I told you about. Some of you may have seen the movie Rock, Rock, Rock. This is the soundtrack album to that. It is the first rock and roll soundtrack album ever made. It is also on Chess Records, and it is the first record album from Chess Records. And I also told you about that one on the last episode.
I want to look.
Now, this is Bill Haley and the Comets. It's on the Somerset label, and it comprises basically the Essex material. Before they were Bill Haley and the Comets, they were Bill Haley and the Saddlemen, playing basically country and rockabilly. For example, one song, what is it? Let me look here. Rock the Joint. I have the 45 of Rock the Joint, and it's a good tune. On the flip side, however, it is country, and quite honestly, it sounds like a moose in heat. It's awful.
Good comeback.
No wonder why it was popular in Canada. I mean, what? Oh, never mind.
Now, another soundtrack album, for which I unfortunately do not have the cover, but around 1957, I believe, there was another rock and roll movie entitled Jamboree. This is the soundtrack album. It has been counterfeited. This is the original, and I have researched it to be sure. One interesting thing about this album, though, is it has Jerry Lee Lewis performing Great Balls of Fire, but it is an alternate version to the Sun 45, and I think much more colorful, a much more colorful performance. And this album, incidentally, was not released to the general public. It was released to DJs, radio stations, things of that nature. Now, we will also get into a few 78s here. Now, some of these I like just for the label. Chance Records out of Chicago. A beautiful label. They had awesome performers, Flamingos, a lot of great groups. And this one, for those of you who are familiar with this record, Dinah Washington, Long John Blues. How can I put she is not speaking of how tall John is. Okay? So, rather risque for the time.
Yep.
Now, here's something that you probably are not familiar with. This is a radio station copy on the X label, a subsidiary of RCA. It is Trumpet Tarantella featuring 11-year-old trumpeter Frankie Avalon. So before Frankie became the singer, he played trumpet. Now, everyone is familiar with the TV show I Love Lucy. Here is a radio station copy of the I Love Lucy theme song performed vocally by Desi Arnaz. Now, for the jazz aficionados, from 1929, Duke Ellington's first record, Caravan.
Okay.
Now, you've probably heard this in many oldies, movies, things of this nature. American Graffiti, The Spaniels, Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night. It was also released in the 45. However, I like the label design of the 78 much better. Now, I don't know if you can... Oh, there's no glare off of this. Let me take this out of the plastic. One of my favorite tunes, the Orioles, Crying in the Chapel. And probably should have had already out. On the RPM label, the Teen Queens, Eddie My Love. This you would hear a lot on the TV show Happy Days or other movies, television shows like this. Johnny Ray Cry on the OK label, which was a subsidiary of Columbia.
Columbia was the first to put out the 12-inch.
Right.
Cool.
And this one, who hasn't heard this? Fats Domino, Blueberry Hill. Everyone's heard that. Other song. This one, a lot of people are probably not familiar with this artist. Joe Liggins and the Honey Drippers on the specialty label, So Along. This has a very nice raw feeling to it. And I wish I had a vinyl sleeve for
The
this.
design on that. Design on the label's nice.
Okay.
Just the label design.
That specialty design. And I have some with an all black specialty label and an all red and one that's all yellow.
I like this one because it's kind of a yin-yang.
But it doesn't have the yin-yang. It just says specialty and black lettering,
Right.
and it's all one color. The Everly Brothers, Bye Bye Love.
Bye bye, sweet caress.
Yes. Now, another radio station copy, and most radio station copies from the 50s were on vinyl, not the heavy shellac type material for consumer purchase. This is on Groove. Groove was a subsidiary of of RCA. Big John Greer, Bottle It Up and Go. And back in the day, if a performer was black, was African American, the program director would write on the label, as this one did, race. They were considered race records, which many stations, unfortunately, would not play. This one did.
So are there any, like, so you said Columbia had the subsidiary of Specialty, was it Specialty? Or was it, I forget which one it was.
What was it? No, not Specialty. Oh, it was, okay.
Okay, yeah. And then this is of RCA. Do they still have, no, do they still have, I guess, subsidiaries of,
The label?
yes.
I honestly can't say right now. I'm sure they probably do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably do.
Cool.
Okay. Everyone is familiar with the Penguins' Earth Angel. One thing you may not know is that this version of Earth Angel was actually a demo. They re-recorded it for the Mercury label, a year, maybe 2 years later, and I like this version much better. Wow.
Almost thought it said, hey Sharona.
This is one of the prettiest ballads you'll ever hear, I think. The Four Vagabonds, P.S. I Love You, backed with Lazy Countryside. Lloyd's Records, about 1953 respectively. Very nice tunes if you can find them. And it occurred to me later this afternoon that I have several Red Robin labels and things like that I should have brought and didn't, so maybe another time.
Yes.
Okay. Amos Milburn and his Aladdin Chicken Shackers, The Glory of Love. You've got to love a name like that. You've got to nail it. And it's a good tune. Several groups did it, and I like his as well. Now, let's see. This one I like. This is Jazzbo Collins. Jazzbo Collins, Grimm Fairy Tales for Hip Kids. This is Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Little Pigs, but it's told in a very hip style, and it's just a cool record. It is. 1953, and I had to ponder and ask the question, why is Jazzbo Collins why has he not been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It's good stuff. And another group that I personally like, and I can't take this one out, the Five Keys. They recorded primarily for the Aladdin label, also for Capitol. The Aladdin material is more raw and greedy, or gritty, more raw and gritty. The Capitol material is more polished. I like it both. I like both. Now, on the last show, I told you about this, and I told you I'd bring it. Jackie Brenston, Rocket 88. This is considered by many to be the first rock and roll record. And my ponderance, my question is, this being the first rock and roll record, why hasn't Jackie Brenston been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, don't you think he should be? First rock and roll record?
He was the first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a really good point.
That's a very good point, which I love because it goes into the segue of this bit.
Yes.
Like Jackie Brenston, like this whole entire stack that you've showed us. Here's the thing. This baby, along with all the other classics, all these people are the foundation. They deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, no doubt.
Absolutely.
But since they are going off and corporate BS and whatever, we thought we'd come up with, because Doug just showed some prime examples of what the Knights of the Round Table Hall of Fame should be. In other words, who do we think deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Not what the corporate bozos say, although some of the bands that are in that hall, they're nailed on, did real good. Yeah, but other ones like no. So we thought we'd show some prime examples on that. Doug went off and he showed us the classic stuff. Okay, and I have, I guess, later period stuff and the new. So this is going to be fun. I'll try to get through some of these quick. All right, so like Felix, I brought my own bag of tricks, except this vinyl this time, of in my opinion anyway, and maybe some of you audience out there's opinion as well, as to who should be in the Hall of Fame, in the real one, even though in the Knights one, this is what we feel. All right, a lot of you people know that I've talked about this band ad nauseum. Monkees. These guys,
Picture this too.
they were the first, yes, from 1982, Monkey Business, one of my favorites. Yes, okay, fine. They started out Prefab 4 TV show. They decided to incorporate songs into the TV show. First two albums, Bubblegum, then after that they did their own experimentation. First rock band to use a Moog synthesizer.
Cool.
Trippy, cultish, the oldest stuff. They just deserve to be in there. It's happy, fun time music, kids. It's what it is. And it, yes, even for the later period, it was stuff to drop. Acid, smoke a joint, whatever too. Here's another one that doesn't get to be shown that often. It's kind of half hard to find from 1970. Yeah, they were down to 2. Mickey and Davey for the Changes album, which I know you can't tell, but there's a little bit of a silhouette right around here. That's because Mike Nesmith was actually in the picture too. They cropped him out. That one's actually to throw number. You know, it is a probably the third rarest album as far as from Monkey Records are concerned. Okay, so Monkees, we brought that up. Okay, here they come into our Hall of Fame. All right. These guys are long overdue.
Definitely.
I'm sending this to Fang Volk. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Why in the hell are the Raiders not in? These guys were from the Pacific Northwest, Idaho, Oregon area, if I remember correctly. Please, next time when we do another rock episode, bring the early albums. I think there's a bunch of people that would really love to see this. But this one here, 1966 on Jordan, it was actually unreleased stuff at that time from the late 50s, early 60s period. But Paul Revere and the Raiders, because they're such a good thing.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
I know I got that bad. Okay, this one. The Moody Blues. Why the hell are the Moody Blues not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Maybe they're not Knights on White Satin anymore, but who cares? These guys deserve to be in there. Their early career, if you've ever heard the song Go Now, which is classic English Brit invasion stuff, but it was that whole new invention of the Mellotron that changed their whole entire rock and roll landscape world. That and of course the drugs. Point of the matter is, Moody Blues, many hits. And in 2001, they cut an album. It was a live album. Guess what it was called? Hall of Fame. The reason why they called it the Hall of Fame? Because it was a live album recorded at Royal Albert Hall. See, they were being a smart aleck because they knew they weren't getting in the Hall of Fame. How rude. Two last ones here, and I'm done with this. Here's another one. Deep Purple. Why in God's name is this band not in? Okay, That's All Right All Night. They're my highway star. These guys know what they're doing. I mean, really, people, Machine Head. Machine Head. Classic stuff. They're still going strong even though Blackmore's not with them. They need to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, this last one here, another personal preference. I know you're like, oh, you went on the Monkees kick, you went on another kick. Here's another kick I'm going to go on, okay? All right, true story. I was 15 years old. I actually tried to sneak into a club. At 15, I tried to go through the back door because I wanted, that didn't sound right, I wanted to see this band perform in '82. It was the last appearance that they made in the area before one of the members committed suicide. Badfinger. If you like power pop, this is from 1979's Airwaves, a underrated gem pop classic. Seriously. At this point, though, they were just down to Joey and Tom, Joey Millan and Tom Evans, but you also had Mike Gibbons and Pete Ham. Pete Ham and Tom Evans were the geniuses in this band. Sorry, Joey and Mike, but you guys know that too. The thing is that you're talking about, they, in my opinion, are the second most tragic band of the 70s, under Skynyrd. Okay, with the whole plane crash with Skynyrd. These guys here, every band that's up and coming and are thinking about, maybe we should be a rock band, maybe we should try to go for record contracts, maybe we should go for management, should go read Dan Monateva's book, Day After Day, The Badfinger Story, because you're going to find out how bad this band was screwed. Screwed, so much so by mismanagement, embezzled millions of dollars, and two of the band members committed suicide by hanging 8 years apart. It's that, my friends, at least in my opinion, is who should be in the Knights of the Round Table Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So, how long does a band technically have to be around after they put out their first album to be inducted in the Hall?
If I remember correctly, I could have sworn I thought I read the guidelines were at least 25 years. I think that's what it is after the first album comes out.
Well, I'm not sure how many of these will meet that criteria.
It's our Hall of Fame. Screw the rules. I mean, what? Oh, who said that?
But The Clash, London Calling. The Clash should definitely be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, they were one of the first punk bands. Helped start a new era in rock and roll, creating punk music. But when you listen to it, it's not. I don't know. You get the punk vibes, but it's not necessarily the I don't know, Black Flag. It's not the hard. I don't know. So they were still on the rock and roll side of it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They definitely deserve to be in a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Anybody? Guy who's still out there doing stuff and doing good things for the industry, Jack White and Meg White and the White Stripes. As far as new rock and roll goes, Jack has pretty much got that covered. I mean, between the Dead Weather and Raconteurs, I don't know. Any of his guitar work on this is worth listening to.
I love Jack White, seriously.
He's probably I would say he's the best, I guess, rock and roll bluesy guitar player of this time period, for sure. A real innovator, but he innovates by perfecting past styles, if that makes sense. Another band, the Pixies. Pixies released a bunch of classics. I mean, they're everywhere. Everybody's listened to them. They might not know that they've listened to them, but they've been in a lot of things. I don't know. They're one of my favorite bands. I love listening to them anytime, and they rock. They just recently lost their bass player, Kim, but I don't know. Hopefully, I haven't gotten a chance to listen to the new album that they are releasing, so hopefully it'll be good even without her.
Well, the Pixies also performed in the Christian Slater movie, Pump Up the Volume.
God, I remember hearing that movie, but it's been so long since I saw that.
Cool. But this is my favorite. Generally, you're either a Doolittle fan or, I don't know. This is the best one in my opinion. Another band that I think should be inducted into our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of the Knights of the Round Table
I know it's
is
long, we'll shorten
Mudhoney.
it.
Mudhoney rocks. They're the fuzziest, grimiest. I don't know. As far as the '90s rock, grunge, grunge goes, these guys got it covered. You had Nirvana and stuff like that, but this band definitely got overlooked. I mean, they should. This is a great one. My personal favorite band, Pavement. This was, I guess, the second album that they cut. This was released in '92. How many years is that?
22.
So
22.
3 more years.
Yeah.
This could be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not that it will, but I love them. Got to see them on their reunion tour in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
It was a great time.
Was that at Lala?
No, it was Pitchfork Music Festival.
All right. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
They're one of my all-time favorite bands. And last but not least, Sonic Youth. Sonic Youth is one of those that definitely needs to be inducted. They changed a lot of things. They brought a lot of new stuff about. So as far as indie rock goes,
Nice.
So.
Very nice. See, so like I said, I mean, all these, and for you guys out there, all of you guys have got favorites. I mean, and a lot of them are worthy. The point of the whole thing is this, okay? We listen to music for enjoyment, isn't that right, guys? Yeah. So screw the real Hall of Fame,
right.
Because you guys still got it wrong.
It's arbitrary. It really is.
Well, that and the whole.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking though of along with hype and glory, Record Store Day. That happened this past weekend. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize it's every third Saturday in April.
Yep.
Found it 2008 is when it started. I don't. All right, I'll show what I got because I wasn't planning on getting anything, and then I want to talk about it though briefly. Okay. I grabbed a couple 45s and an album. First thing I got. This was never really actually released as a 45, but I thought it was really cool that they did the design that way.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac from 1971's Dragonfly, back with the Purple Dancer. Peter Green was gone by that time. Danny Kern was the guitar player. 3,000 copies. I don't think the camera's going to be able to see this really well, but it's on purple vinyl. Really, really sweet, and it actually plays really nice too. Also, though, Rhino was involved in this one here. They call them side-by-sides. It's a mystery. Nobody knows what it is until you open it, supposedly. Well, you know what? I like listening to my stuff sometimes, so I decided to open it to discover that the side-by-side is on the old school Elektra label. The group Love 7 and 7 is, along with the flip side was on the Atlantic label Rush doing the same song. This, I think, is the cool part about it. If you tilt it just right, it's orangey yellow. I'm a sucker for. All right, I'm a sucker for a lot of things. Colored vinyl. This. Oh yeah, show your piece real quick.
Yeah.
You were going to show us that.
I forgot to do that. Talking about colored vinyl, this Mudhoney is on a pretty sweet purple vinyl.
Yes.
It's like a bowling ball.
Wow. And then lastly, which I don't feel like I'm going to open this right now, but Motorhead put their new album out, but it was in a picture disc. 4,500 copies worldwide. It's numbered on the back as well in the corner. It was $20. It was the same price as a regular album, so I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of the albums for Record Store Day, I noticed, they actually had a bunch of different things. The 45s, I saw the cheap end was $4, going all the way up to $9.99 for some of them. They had some 10-inch ones, which I thought were really, really cool. Those were like about anywhere from 10 to 14, and then the albums were anywhere from 10 to 20, or even more if they were box sets and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was the basic price structure on that stuff. At least the store that I went to, amazingly enough, there was only a dozen people. I saw video of other Record Store Days across the country, and the lines were going around blocks.
Right.
It was kind of crazy. But
a better record store in this area.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would.
What I want to ask about all this and get the opinions of everyone else here. How do you really feel about the whole Record Store Day thing? I've heard positive, heard negative. I mean, what do you think, guys?
I think it's a great thing.
I think it's pretty great.
Yeah. You have new material coming out, reissues of older material.
in cool purple vinyl, and you know.
But not only that, you have younger people getting into vinyl.
Right. I mean, in the early 2000s, I guess, there was all the mom and pop record stores across the country just disappeared. And I think releasing specific things on Record Store Day has really, I mean, somebody who isn't necessarily into records anymore, but loves Fleetwood Mac, could have gone out to their record store to try and get that 45 because they heard it was going to be released. So it's not only is it drawing new people in, young kids, but it's also reminding older people that they still are releasing these things and releasing them in new formats and on purple color vinyl and limited numbers. And everybody loves that stuff. So.
And hopefully it is an actual analog master that they are putting onto vinyl, and not some kind of a digital foldover that they're doing.
Right.
Now, for example, that's funny that you actually bring that up, okay? And I don't want to get off too track here, but this had to do with, I think, last year's Record Store Day. They re-released Big Star's third album. They actually had a couple-minute piece on this, where they went back to Arden Studios over in Memphis, where that was the Arden Stax. That was the label at the time that it was made in '78. Okay, they went off and said, "Okay, we're going to go off. We're going to cut it back on the." And this was too cool, on the original lathe. They showed all of this, and I wish Snag Films is the name on YouTube, guys. Look for the Record Store Day documentary. It's only 30 minutes long, but the thing is that they showed that it was on the original lathe. They had the original guy who cut it was still alive. He was doing all this stuff, and then they got the last surviving member of Big Star because everybody else is dead, and he was there too, watching the process. And when they got done, they made this. I thought this part was cool. I thought it was kind of like a Willy Wonka thing. They made a box set out of this thing. It was going to be a box set anyway. They showed like the contracts, the kind to put you back into the frame of mind. But they went off and they took 5 of those test pressings right off the lathe. Okay, they got Jody Stevens was the one member. He signed it. The owner of Arden Studio signed it. And the engineer that cut the record off of the lathe signed it all on the paper sleeve. They put it into this box set along with a letter that said, and they showed this because the one guy got it at the store. It was totally unexpected, and it said, "Congratulations, you are winner number 2 of 5," and it mentioned the whole. And I'm going, how Willy Wonka cool is that stuff?
Awesome.
So I mean, I don't know how much that was. It looked pricey, but the point of the matter is that
some people are putting some effort into making it, not using a digital
And then even with the other stuff, like, okay, a couple of things that I saw on the table when I was looking, they did have stickers that went off and said, when you buy this, you get a digital download code. So I'm like, you know what? So you get the old and the new. And that I can get, I guess. It's just that's all the positive stuff. The negative that still gets me a little bit is, and thankfully enough, this store that I went to, which I won't mention the name of it, was cool. They adhered to the rules. Everybody got a shot at things. There was nothing held back. But there were certain artists, and I won't mention names on that either, that found out that, at least overseas, because they were English musicians, that some of their product was actually withheld and turned around and sold on eBay. And it didn't even make it out of the shop to be sold by customers, or to customers. And I'm just sitting there going, that's just outright wrong. I know, I guess, okay, fine. I guess any business and industry like this is going to have the element of greed, but there's got to be a way. I mean, the only thing I can think of is boycotting eBay in those particular instances, and realistically, I'm not sure how many people would do that anyway. But
I think eBay probably is a big contributor to why record sales are increasing. It's because people are able to get them on places like eBay and on Discogs.
Yes, I mean, and no, that's the good thing about the availability. It's the price gouging.
Right.
That's the thing that ticks me off more than anything. And then, for example, though, and I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to anyway. I talked to the owner of the store of that record day when I was there that day, and he told me truthfully that when he had to order X amount of pieces, you didn't know what you were getting.
Right.
Okay, it was coming, and I'm surprised he told me this. They literally were going to make no profit on
Yeah.
this. In fact, he said that he was going to be hit up for a loss unless every item on that table was sold. He'd break even, and I'm
Right.
going, that in a way isn't almost fair either, and I'm just sitting there like,
the mom and pop stores can't make any money.
yeah. So I'm, I mean, if he's telling me this,
Right.
imagine all the smaller ones.
Right.
It's just, I'm glad that the day is there. Every day should be
It's not
record store day.
perfect.
You're right. It's not. Well, what is though?
Right,
So,
exactly.
all right. You know what? Once again, God, this was fun. This is always fun. I love it. I love it. I love it. All the pieces. Anybody got any last comments before we wrap up the second helping?
Pretty good.
All right, guys. You know what?
Like and share.
Yes. Oh dear God, please like and share with the friends, the enemies, the frenemies, because you know what? There's going to be a lot more exciting things coming. There is. Next episode, jazz. We're going to talk about Let's Beatnik, but we're going to talk about jazz next time around for you jazz aficionados, and hopefully some musical guests and interviews coming soon. Till then, it's been.
Doug Fields.
Grand Diablo.
And, maybe I could go for thirds too. Paul Pease. See you guys next episode of Knights of the Round Turntable.